Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we've got a report from the Boston Beer Company, incorporated often called SAM, which usually means their financials are going to be as refreshing as a cold one. But let's see if it is a craft brew or a watered down light beer this time. Before we dive in, if you love unpacking these important company updates and getting a clear picture of what is really going on behind the scenes, make sure you are subscribed. Also, we have a fantastic community over on Discord where we chat about these filings and more, so check out the link in the description. This is a current report, meaning it is for events that are important enough to report now, not at the end of the quarter. So, what big news did Boston Beer Incorporated have on the 23rd of October, 2025 that they felt needed immediate disclosure? Alright, the core of this report is about their financial results for the third quarter of 2025. They've put out an earnings release, and that is what we'll be digging into. This is where we get the numbers that tell the real story of how the business is doing. This exhibit is the actual earnings release. Companies put out these releases to share their financial performance with the public. It is usually packed with the key figures that investors and analysts will be looking at. Now let's get to the juicy part, the numbers. What are we seeing from Boston Beer Incorporated in this third quarter of 2025? The company itself, the Boston Beer Company Incorporated, is known for brands like Sam Adams Beer, Truly Hard Seltzer, and Twisted Tea. They operate in a very competitive beverage market, and their performance can be influenced by consumer trends, competition, and even the weather. Their main stock is trading under the symbol SAM on the New York Stock Exchange. This tells us they are a publicly traded company, and we can see how the market reacts to news like this. When it comes to the financials, we're looking at how much money they brought in and how much it cost them to make it, and ultimately, how much profit they kept. For a company like Boston Beer, incorporated sales of their key products are what drive everything. We want to see if their sales are growing, if their popular products are still in demand, and if they are managing their costs effectively, while the actual numbers from the earnings release aren't detailed within this 8K filing itself. The filing explicitly states that the earnings release Exhibit 99 contains the financial information for the third quarter of 2025. This means the detailed breakdown of revenue, expenses, profits, and any year. Over-year changes would be found within that attached document. We have to assume that the earnings release contained figures that were significant enough to warrant this 8K filing, and typically such releases highlight key performance indicators like net revenue, gross profit, earnings per S-hair, and often compare these to the same period in the previous year. These comparisons are crucial for understanding the company's trajectory. For instance, if net revenue is up, it means they are selling more products or selling them at higher prices. If gross profit is also up proportionally, it suggests they are efficiently producing their goods. However, if revenue is up but gross profit is down, it could indicate rising production costs or increased promotional spending that is eating into their margins. The earnings release would also likely touch on topics like depletion, which is essentially the volume of their products shipped to distributors. This is a key indicator of consumer demand. Any significant shifts in depletion volumes for their flagship brands like Sam Adams or Truly would be a major talking point. Are Truly seltzers still as popular as they were a year ago? Is Sam Adams beer making a comeback? These are the questions that investors would be asking, and the earnings release would provide the data points to answer them. Further analysis, typically found in such releases, would focus on operating expenses like marketing and selling costs, and general and administrative expenses. How effectively is the company spending money to promote its brands? Are their overhead costs under control? Changes in these areas can significantly impact the bottom line, and of course, the bottom line itself, net income or profit and earnings. Per hair, these are the ultimate measures of profitability. Are they making more money than they did last year? Is their profit growing faster or slower than their revenue? This tells us about their overall financial health and their ability to generate value for shareholders. This entry refers to an interactive data file, often in XBRL format. XBRL stands for Extensible Business Reporting Language. It is a way to tag financial data so that computers can read and process it more easily. This makes it simpler for analysts and investors to compare financial information across different companies and different filings. It is like having a cheat sheet for all the numbers. Looking at the signatures at the end, we see Diego Reynoso, the Chief Financial Officer, signing off on this report. This signals that the company's financial leadership has reviewed and approved the disclosed information. Now, let's step back and look at what this filing and the underlying earnings release it points to really means for the Boston Beer Company Incorporated. They are in a dynamic and sometimes fickle consumer beverage market. Trends can shift rapidly. Hard seltzers, for example, exploded in popularity, but the market has since become much more crowded. The company needs to show it can adapt and continue to innovate or leverage its established brands effectively. A key risk for any company in this sector is relying too heavily on a single product category. If the market for hard seltzers cools significantly, or if consumer preferences shift away from them, it could pose a serious challenge. Conversely, if they can successfully re-energize their beer brands or introduce new successful products, they could see a strong turnaround. Without the specific numbers from the earnings release, it is hard to give a definitive prediction on their financial health, but the fact they are filing this 8K indicates they have new material financial information to share. We would be looking for growth in net revenue, stable or improving gross profit margins, and a positive trend in earnings per S-hair to signal good health. Declines in any of these areas, especially when compared to the prior year, would raise red flags and suggest that the Boston Beer Company, Incorporated, might be facing headwinds. The story here is about adaptation and sustained relevance in a fast-changing market known for its intense competition. Are they leveraging their brand equity successfully, or are they struggling to keep pace with new entrants and evolving consumer tastes? The actual financial results in the earnings release would tell us which of these scenarios is playing out. In conclusion, this 8K filing is a signal from the Boston Beer Company, Incorporated, that they have new financial results to report for the third quarter of 2025. The real insights are contained within the referenced earnings release. We'd need to see those numbers to assess if the company is brewing up success or facing a tough market challenge. What are your thoughts on the Boston Beer Company, Incorporated, and its position in the market? Do you see their brands continuing to thrive, or are there significant risks on the horizon? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more in-depth corporate analysis, and don't forget to join our Discord community for more discussions. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.